Basically, our mission is to connect the world through the most innovative, convenient, reliable, and secure payment network by enabling all these individuals, all these businesses and economies to grow.
Maria, can you just go into a little bit about yourself, about the role that you do at Visa, just to give our listeners a little bit of context as to who you are and what you do, and then I'm going to ask the same question to Nick. So get your elevator pitch ready.
Perfect, thank you. So Maria Ávila here. Nice meeting you all. I'm based out of Madrid, lovely Spain, and I'm Visa Direct Sales and Commercialization for Southern Europe that goes from all the way from Portugal to Turkey, so covering all the sunny countries within Southern Europe and, serving the whole ecosystem by creating the demand and the need of our new payouts platform for Visa Direct.
Great. And yourself, Nick?
Yeah, so hi, so Nick Dobson. I basically, in a nutshell, look after the commercial e-commerce business at Truvo. Again, European focused, where we're looking to grow ourselves out over the next kind of 3 to 5 years, but using that as our blueprint as we scale across Europe. In a very exciting time for Truvo's growth, really. So, yeah, it's me.
Awesome. So this podcast came around when we wanted to cover a specific topic and a specific product that Truvo and specifically I want to learn a lot more about, which is Visa Direct. Now, Maria, you were the best person to get on the podcast to have a chat about this. So with that in mind, can you just go into a little bit about Visa Direct as a product and exactly how it works, and give our listeners a little bit of context as to exactly what it is? Because I think personally it's a product that not a lot of people know a lot about. They may have heard of it, but they're not actually into the nitty-gritty of how it works. So that would be a great way to start.
Sure, perfect. So basically, Visa Direct is our global movement money network that is, of course, non-stop. It's a network that can move money in real time, so 24/7, 365 days. It is, of course, with the immediate need of the modernization of global money movement of financial institutions, corporate banks, remitters, fintechs, neobanks. Of course, there is a need to simplify all those complexities with legacy systems and processes to better serve their customers. So basically, Visa Direct is Visa's real-time move money network that it's embedded within Visa Net, within our own system, to enable different type of transactions and to capture all those new money flows between the parties for a wide range of different use cases. So basically, Visa Direct helps to facilitate the fast delivery of funds that can be delivered to either eligible cards, or bank accounts, and even wallets around the world. So as I already mentioned, we do support tons of different and multiple use cases, such as person-to-person, account-to-account transfers, business and government payouts, or even to individuals or to small businesses, and of course, merchant settlement or instant faster refunds. And basically, Visa Direct leverages Visa purchase transaction infrastructure, but in a different way, by introducing two types of transaction. One is the transaction that push the funds, and what is the transaction that pulls the funds. The first one, the one that pushes the funds, is the one that sends money to the accounts through card rails or directly to bank accounts through our connection to other networks such as ACA rails. So basically the balance will go up. And the pull transaction is the transaction that is the one used to withdraw money from a cardholder's account, just like in a purchase, but of course with some indicators and data enhancement in the transaction that it's not a purchase of a good or a service, but it's more for a person to pull money from his or her Visa account to load the funds into another account she or he may own and may have. So basically, in this case, the balance will go down.
Cool. Okay, I think my point of call internally at Truvo is the man I go to is Nick about this product, because he seems to be pretty knowledgeable about it. But considering who might be listening, Nick, from all types of businesses and everything, can you just contextualize a little bit from your opinion what Visa Direct is? Because you tend to be quite good at articulating what the product actually does from your perspective.
Yeah, happy to do so. I mean, look, I think Visa Direct is probably one of the best or kind of the biggest innovations that Visa have brought to the market in probably the last decade. I try and simplify it away, and I know there's a little bit more complexity than this, but I think of it as a card network, which most people are quite comfortable with, of taking funds from a card holder and it flowing through the necessary network and ended up in a merchant account. Think of that in reverse. So basically, the funds sit in the merchant account, and you use Visa Direct products and solutions to deliver funds in ultimately real time direct to the card holder, which I think is, when you look at it, it's pretty much a game changer. And I think Maria agree there's been some fantastic use cases that I think we'll probably dig into that's really, not only benefited the card holder and the consumer, but actually, I guess, kind of challenged the norms and created new business models. That's really quite interesting, which is why I think it's probably one of the best innovations that we've seen in payments and sort of the fintech market over the last 5 to 6 years.
Yeah, I agree. And from Maria's perspective, what kick-started Visa Direct? What was the reason that Visa kind of said, we're going to launch this as a product, and where did it start?
Well, I guess Visa is a global payment technology. We are the world leader in digital payments. We are facilitating transactions between consumers, merchants, financial institutions, government entities across more than over 200 territories and countries we are present in. And basically, our mission is to connect the world through the most innovative, convenient, reliable, and secure payment network by enabling all these individuals, all these businesses and economies to grow. So we truly believe within Visa that economies that include everyone, everywhere, will uplift everyone everywhere. And we do see the access as a foundational to the future of money movement. Basically, Visa vision is to be the best way to pay and to get paid for everyone and everywhere. And considering this, there was the main, reason for Visa to really focus into capturing all these new payment flows in the way to get paid. We were really well known to as the best method of payment to pay, but not to get paid. And I think we would like to deliver, that value of becoming the moving money globally. Okay, so that's basically our main aim and where Visa Direct comes from.
Yeah, awesome. I think when I first heard of Visa Direct, it was quite a complicated thing for me to understand, even though I do have a payments background. But the one thing that did really bring it to life for me was use cases. Now, and actually understanding how the product works and who it benefits and where it can work best. So I want to dive into that because I think that's going to add some context to everyone that's listening. So can you dive into a few case studies for us as to who the product is actually benefiting and where is it seeing its most benefit?
Sure, perfect. So, as I mentioned already, use cases. The first one is peer-to-peer, okay, to facilitate funds transfer between two people, okay, and common examples, of course, include splitting bills or giving gifts through, all these apps, okay. For example, think about a Square Cash app that is already using our technology in order to do so. The other one that it's quite linked to peer-to-peer, it's what we call international remittances. So it's basically a peer-to-peer, but, inter-regional. And for example, Visa Direct, it's enabling banks and remitters to send funds to cards or to bank accounts directly internationally. Some examples of our partners, may include, the large global remitters such as MoneyGram, Western Union, Remitly, Go or TransferWise at a European scale. But then we do have so many more, of course, crypto vertical that it's now really, everyone is looking into it, and we do have a huge growth in this vertical. The Coinbase of the likes, Binance are already using our technology for funds disbursements to cash or withdraw the money that you have earned by making those investments. Micro lending as well, that during the pandemic, was also a case and a use case we've seen that really growed. But, you may include as well, may think about seller payouts, any type of marketplace. For example, Airbnb host, can receive rental payments through VisaDirect, and the funds are pushed directly to the debit card. And even recently, eBay, for example, launched seller payouts as well for those participants in their marketplace. Another use case that that is coming now into the European landscape that was well known and more in North America and the US is earned wage access. Okay, so VisaDirect is enabling employers to manage on-demand, off-cycle, or instant payouts to employees, such as sell commissions or annual bonuses. We've partnered recently with ADP, with CloudPay, and some other fintechs such as Hasty, Waystream, Daily Aftic, and so far and so on in the US. Of course, we cannot forget about gig economy. Gig economy, think about the Uber. Uber is of the likes. Uber is using, VisaDirect for the drivers to get access to their wages as well, to the money they have earned, and they can be paid through days' wages, same day through our technology. So many other industries that is still are on top, such as, for example, insurance. Any type of funds disbursement. Think about auto insurance or car insurance, home insurance. Think about agents or brokers' commissions, that go around all this industry, and still a lot to be digitalized and transformed. A content creator, by enabling all these new industries that are arising, and we need to be there and to support, of course, again, businesses, merchants, consumers, and end users. So lots that we've seen, and last but not least, for example, a use case I would like to recall is government disbursements. We are trying to add value to the governments to quickly and efficiently distribute all these funds to its citizens, either through tax rebates or relief funding. For example, also during the pandemic in Latin America, in Guatemala, for example, we supported the government to quickly respond to the needs of the population by sending subsidy funds directly to debit card credentials and reach also and support and bank population in the same way. Those are just some examples, I think.
Yeah, I think we're going to might dive into a little bit more about them. But Nick, anything else to add to that? Because I know you're quite close to the product, and equally both of us are working with some customers to enable this for them. So any experiences from your side?
Yeah, I mean, look, Maria summed up really well. I think the great bit is there was kind of early on the traditional sort of maybe sort of legacy sort of addressing the problems around money remittance and things like that was a very, very clear use case. But what's really exciting, I find, with VisaDirect now is literally week on week, month on month, new use cases are being created and enabling markets to work differently. The Uber example, absolutely awesome. Really love it in terms of actually it drives consumer behavior because of the nature of it. And I know the deeper detail, and without kind of mentioning names and things there, but I know Uber had a bit of a problem where, they were losing staff because, they weren't able to pay them quick enough. And therefore there was no incentive for me to get in and do a drive because do you know what? Unfortunately, a lot of people live in that hand to mouth kind of phase that, they're on a day to day or a week to week salary cycle. And that can be quite challenging. So they were finding that they were going off to other industries because they could get paid quicker. So bringing in this allowed them to enable people to get paid at the end of the day, get hands on their funds for their drives a lot quicker. and actually it drove people to be more kind of more engaged with Uber and work, and that's great. And I've seen that happen across a couple of other markets as well. So that's the bit that I'm really seeing. I think one that's perhaps a little bit, and probably very, very prominent over the COVID period is travel. Pretty obvious that travel was dramatically hit through COVID times. And I saw my first RFP recently around quite a large travel provider wanting to do instant refunds for for when they had to kind of refund their customers, which is phenomenal, really, because when you look at that market, traditionally used to take that 3 to 5 day time period for funds to arrive. If I wanted to book a holiday, say, I was going to a destination and COVID rules changed and I couldn't go there anymore, travel booker says, unfortunately, we're going to have to cancel it and refund you the money. And then I have to wait a week for my funds to come, and then I have to go and rebook. But if you're able to cancel it and there's near instant kind of giving of those funds back to me, the chances of me actually rebooking with that same holiday provider there and then dramatically increase. And I think that's just, look, the reality is, what a win for a great customer experience for the card holder, but also from the merchant as well, being able to save that spend, and what would traditionally have been a real negative experience can suddenly say, actually, look, there's a positive here. So, it's an exciting kind of point of, and we're certain, I know Maria and I talk quite a bit, we're finding new little use cases day by day sort of thing. People say, oh, can I use it here? Yeah, that would fit perfectly. And I think the content creator world is something which is really growing quite nicely, and something where I've got a lot of time for is, it enables a market to become, which I think if you'd gone back 10 to 15 years, you couldn't have created because the technology didn't exist. And I remember having very similar conversations with businesses 10, 15 years ago. They said, look, we've got this idea, but the economies of scale didn't work up. You could do a solution for the UK, but it wouldn't work across Europe. The costs were quite prohibitive. And then the timeframes for delivery of that to the cardholder or the disbursements just didn't make it all wrap up. Whereas now that's all brought together in a simple solution, and it is pretty neat. So I think we're seeing some exciting times and some really, really interesting projects.
Yeah. I want to dive into maybe one use case at a random selection, maybe a content creator one, but Maria, or a travel one. Which one are you seeing, or which industry are you seeing this product have a biggest stance in? And the industry itself is having or finding the biggest benefits so far of Visa Direct.
To be quite honest, George, we kick it off and it started with gambling and gaming. That was, one of the first use case, of course, together with general funds disbursement. But nowadays, I cannot pick or take one because we've seen exponential growth, double digit across these 3 past years. So I would say cross-border payments, of course, international remittance is one of them. But again, crypto vertical, it's another one. As Nick correctly mentioned, travel industries or even retailers for faster refunds are using, our technology already. And we are addressing some of their pain points. So when, going back to the travel, vertical, think about all the hidden operational cost, from an airline perspective, from a contact center, all the of handling the money, the cash when there is overbooking at the airport, So there are so many things that not only from the user or user perspective, but I guess this is a win-win-win for everyone, for the merchant, of course, for the industry as a whole, and for the final client that can also have the control and choose, as I mentioned at the beginning, the way to pay that booking or that vacational package or flight, but also the way to get paid when there is overbooking or there is a flight delay at the airport and they need to redeem a voucher meal, to be used at the airport. So, again, there are so many use cases that we are seeing that are picking up. And as Nick mentioned, even some of them that, to be quite honest, we never thought about them but they have been raising up cashback loyalty programs as well. It's something that can be easily set up an architecture through our technology, and everything goes through a single app. So again, we are, I hope, and I think, delivering, significant value for everyone. And we, as you already know, do support the four-party model. So we, always try to look for, delivering value to the issuers, to the acquirers, to the merchants, and to the core holders that are our main clients, of course.
Yeah. Anything to add, Nick, before we move on to something else?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's one that's kind of close to my heart that I know we're working on internally, actually, and it's I think it's been an interesting one because it's not just a product that we provide out to our customers. We're looking to enable it to allow merchant disbursement within our own business, which again is huge. So from that perspective, being able to offer our merchants, settlement 7 days a week, 365, is a great product for us as well. So it's not just a card holder and a merchant to the benefit solution. It's us as an acquirer as well, being able to offer our customers benefit from there. And I think for us, look, it's that we're quite mature with the solution. I know Truvo were one of the first to have Visa Direct and the MasterCard Send, which is a kind of similar product as that full suite. And that's enabled us to work and gain maturity in the market quite aggressively, and we'll continue to kind of do that. And we do it both as an integrated solution with acquiring, but often actually we do it. Yeah, some of our biggest customers are just using Visa Direct as a standalone solution, which is quite unique, really. So we've built out that capability to do that and support those markets. And I think we'll continue to see more and more new use cases come. And I think the nice bit of this is, it's not bound by huge amounts of governance and things like that. The actual, the product is set, the solution is very clear, and actually it enables people to be, to kind of think, okay, well, how can I do that? How can I put money into my cardholders' hands quicker? How can I leverage that? How can I do that on a global basis? And I think the more people think about it, the more and more capabilities they'll come from that.
And with such an innovative product, where do we see this product affecting in the future? What of, specifically for Maria, where do Visa see this product going in the next, 5, 10, let's think 20 years time, whatever. But what do we think the future holds for Visa Direct?
Well, I guess part of our strategy is to become the leader platform when talking about moving money globally. Okay. Of course, we kick it off with the push to card capability. So using the PAN credential, the 16, the personal account number, the 16 digits that you can see in a virtual or physical card to push the money. Then we acquire another company to be able to reach to bank accounts or IBAN, so to be able to do direct to account or push to account through our own technology. We recently announced a partnership with Thunes to be able to reach through wallets by partnering directly with wallets or with wallet aggregators such as Thunes in AP. Still, analyzing and working on how we're going to roll out this new capability for push to wallet within the European region. But this is part of, the product roadmap and what we are working on. You've seen also that Visa is highly investing in all new flows. Okay. So we have acquired Tink for open banking. We have acquired Currency Cloud for treasury as a service to, get better into our FX and be able to serve, to our clients. So again, B2B Connect, which is kind of the Visa Direct, but for, high value payments and for corporate, for treasuries, from financial and bank institutions. So this is, a huge investment that Visa is making to really build this, as we say, network of networks. And that's what our main aim and what we would like to become, a network of networks.
Any thoughts on that, Nick? I know you might have something to discuss. I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I agree with everything Maria's saying. I think, it's maturing nicely. I think the bit I like most is it's allowing you to serve markets that perhaps were traditionally underserved, and not everybody has a card in their pocket. We're very spoiled in the Western world that, we've got quite strong infrastructure and things like that, but there's a lot of the world that still perhaps haven't got access to some of the solutions, the market and technology we have, and perhaps will actually jump that. So, you may think that actually getting cards into their pockets probably isn't the right way now. And I think if you rewrote the payment world as it is today, maybe the card wouldn't work that way. But it is what it is, and that's the thing. So that push to account is something that's really huge, opens up that market a lot more. I think the nice bit I often see is, again, it's kind of getting the geeky side, is where we see challenges with other businesses trying to do this, is that whole card holder KYC element and things like that as well. Whereas Visa Direct, because you've already got a banking relationship with your card or your bank account, you've already had that kind of level of approval. So it just does become, it's a solution that's pretty much available to everyone, but everyone who sit within that network, and that gets out to the billions in the world. I don't think there's many platforms that do that so well. That the future for it is huge, really, and I think it will continue to grow. And as the world evolves and new technology and things changes, I don't think we could have looked back 10 years ago and thought that crypto would be as big as it is today, and certain sort of technologies that kind of have come to fruition. But I think that the nice bit is, even traditional, well, I think of it now, even things like PayPal is, having been around and been using it for the best part of 15, 20 years, I see that as a traditional product. And actually, my first ever experience of Visa Direct was actually, taking payments out of eBay via PayPal for things I'd kind of sold. So it is quite neat and kind of embedded in what was, I say, some of them are traditional payments now that, PayPal probably is one of those that you'd categorise that as.
Anything to add, Maria, before we end with some closing questions?
No. I guess, as I mentioned, Visa Direct is filling a large role in the faster payments ecosystem. We are supporting consumer and businesses' money flows. This is estimated, according to our research and analysis, up to $65 trillion. And new flows represent a 185 trillion opportunity, okay? And we are, enabling these transactions globally. Again, Visa Direct will offer the flexibility to deliver this significant value. We are trying to serve our customer better by enabling quick and simple disbursements, payments to client with their card credentials that are safe on file, with bank accounts, through our Visa Payment Limited capability, and then to push to wallet. We are in the middle of a digitalization age that was even increased with COVID. We are following new trends on the market, on the regions, to enter into this new age we are in. Of course, that we are also trying to cater to millennials, to that generation customer base. We are always thinking about higher customer satisfaction, with real-time payments, because it is a simplified payment process, that it's authenticated, that it's tokenized. We are trying to be as much as possible transparent when coming to pricing, to eliminate, the multiple fees that are associated with a cross-border, interbank payment. We are trying to tackle and to address liquidity problems, by offering this quick access to funds within less than 30 minutes. And of course, don't forget about, we are trying to build our own risk control and security with transaction limits. We are Visa, so thanks to our robust and solid compliance framework, we are always making sure There are no money laundering, financial crime, anti-terrorist issues. So that's in a nutshell what I wanted to wrap up with.
Great. Look, I think we've covered an awful lot there. I really do. We've covered an awful lot in a relatively short space of time, but I think that's been really informative. There's been lots of stuff that I think people can take away. I always like to end with kind of just ask all the guests that attend. I'm going to ask both of you, we'll start with Maria. What's one sort of habit or mental framework that you have as a leader, that helps you achieve more, that someone listening that might actually take some, even if they just take this away, what advice or mental framework that you have that is a life lesson for you, or just something that you implement within your teams to help them achieve more?
Well, that's a tricky
I caught you on the cuff. I might have caught you by surprise with that one, but I just thought I'd ask.
No, I think it's to be passionate in life, to really enjoy what you're trying to do, and to try to compete with yourself. That it's, I would say, the best competition you may have. And this is maybe a philosophical, phrase that has been coming with me along all these years through my professional career across different places, I've been working with. So try to be and to get the most out of yourself and compete with yourself.
Great. Nick, how can you add to that? That was a great answer from Maria, but how can you top it?
For me, it's about planning, I think. I think I instill that in all my teams, and my approach as well is making sure that you plan and you put things down. Look, a man with a plan, it's kind of always that kind of good direction. Doesn't mean that you can't change that plan, but it's able to kind of touch back in on those points and ensure that. And even on a day-to-day sort of basis, plan tomorrow at the end of today. So when you wake up, you know what you're doing. I do that out of habit personally, because I've got one of those heads that if I don't do it, I sit there thinking about it all night, and and kind of you've got to go over it. So you try and put it on a piece of paper so that when you sit down at 8 o'clock in the morning, you know exactly what's on the agenda for today. I know, unfortunately, life doesn't go that way. I very rarely get down 2 or 3 on my list before something else comes up. But yeah, so that's for me. I think planning is always the right way.
Great, awesome. Maria, where can people find you on social media? I know you're on LinkedIn. Is that all you're on, or can people get hold of you any other way? If they've got any questions off the back of the podcast, where can they ask you?
No, of course, I'm always reachable through, LinkedIn is the best network, so feel free. And of course, feel free to also reach out to me through my direct email, Avila, MAVILAM @visa.com. I'm happy to support you, of course, together through Truevo's sales workforce.
Great stuff. And as well as yourself, Nick, as well, how can people get hold of you if they've got any questions off the back of this?
Yeah, LinkedIn's the best route for me. I think, it's probably the best way. Quite easy to find on there.
Easy to reply. Great. Look, Nick, Maria, I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, George. Thanks, Maria.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, good to chat.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.